Anyways, so what we wanted to talk about this episode is, unfortunately, the tragedy that was televised on the news. It happened in Hobbs, New Mexico, and unfortunately, this girl, right? I think she was like 18 years old.
Yeah.
Was seen on video throwing her baby away in a dumpster.
Right? A trash can.
And the first thing that came to me was like anger, dude, at the girl, right? Like, that's disgusting. How dare you throw your child away? Like, why would you even do that? There's a special place in hell for you for that, right?
I feel for the girl, but at no time do you throw a baby in the trash can, dude. I'm not gonna give her. I'm not gonna give her an excuse.
Yeah,
but I feel bad for her.
I don't know if there's anything in this conversation that would persuade me and change my mind, right? But my wife did start to talk about, like, you don't know the girl, you don't know what she's gone through, right? And I think we immediately went back to, even though you weren't that young, but you were young. You were like 21 when you got pregnant, right? Yeah. We're married, so it's like, how did that affect your decisions and things like that? Like, and I could see how somebody would be put in a position where, but to me, it's unexcusable.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So right away, I think you got mad and angry at the girl,
Yeah.
but you guys are men, so you've never birthed the baby and actually had to be pregnant.
For record, I have never birthed a baby. Yes, you are correct.
So for me, as soon as I heard it, my heart breaks for the girl because I don't understand how you could go through that pregnancy and do that to your baby. So yes, it was a wrong decision and she should be in trouble for it and suffer the consequences for it. But what about what she was going through prior to it happening? It's such a big decision to do that it's like you're not in your right mind. Like,
I mean, you're gonna assume that there was something going on, but there's people out there, and I'm not trying to be like sexist or whatever the case may be, but I feel sexist. Like sometimes I think I can be, but I think there's some young women out there that live recklessly, and maybe they're not living recklessly, but then they just feel there's some sick people out there, male and female. You know what I mean? And maybe she just felt like burden, and you know what I'm saying? And like she had no heart.
10 months to think about that.
Yeah.
Like, so I could say women, girls, we could be reckless and have a one-night stand or something, and then we find out we're pregnant.
Like, oh, woe was me.
But, like, you can take... like, there's other precautions that could have happened sooner. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, like abortion.
So, what about that? Was that an option for the girl? Because I'm anti-abortion.
Right? I mean, it's an option. We live in America. We're an option in America. I am too. Like I was saying on the other video that we had to re-record, that if in the COVID.
Stop talking about my media errors.
I can't help it. I mean, I
guess I should help us. Like,
I guess I shouldn't.
We're about to blow up. If you want to help us with their media, you could do all this switching and doing stuff, and I just talk.
Maybe I shouldn't say nothing because I literally just talk. Like you said, I just sit here in this chair and I watch him hook up everything and run around like a chicken with his head cut off. But anyway, in the COVID video, I took a more liberal, kind of in the middle stance on the vaccine. But when it comes to abortion, I'm a very hard right, white evangelical, whatever you want to label me, person. Like I'm very pro-life. So yeah, I don't feel like the option is there for abortion. Like I said, I would have to know more about the story, but I feel like maybe young women are being let down, and the resources and the places that they can reach out to for help, maybe the church can step up in that area. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the girl's going through, but it seems like a very sick and selfish thing to do.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot to unravel.
And I agree with all that. And I think the state tried to implement stuff where they have the safe haven law where the girls can go take their baby to a police station, a fire station.
I think a hospital too, right?
A hospital.
It's considered a safe haven.
Leave the baby there and not be charged with abandonment or abuse or anything.
Within the first 90 days is what the law is.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe public schools can start teaching young girls about that instead of gender identity and all these other things they want to come up with.
Ooh, that's hot.
Maybe,
just saying.
Maybe parents should be involved
Parents.
in the home.
Yo, maybe parents
And
should be
maybe
involved in the home.
parents, I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with that too. But you know, when I worked for CYFD and I worked with these kids, a lot of them don't have parents like that, man. Just the way it is.
And then going to like more resources, I mean, now you learn that Planned Parenthood just teaches them how to be safe. So obviously she wasn't even educated in that sense because she was choosing to, well, I don't know if she chose to participate in the sexual act, but it wasn't safe.
And that's the thing, right? The details haven't come out regardless. If the girl was abused,
I'm gonna look them up a little bit.
If she was raped, like, we don't know what the details of it is, but man, it's just a sad, sad situation and a sad thing to see. Like, I can't even begin to fathom. Like, that's why we wanted the baby out here. Like, I have a 4-month.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful babies I've ever seen.
You. He's amazing.
But that's why I think it's so important that we're talking about this, because I think us as parents need to do more. We need to be better. The schools need to be better. The churches, like you said, need to be better. We need to do more so this doesn't become something that happens again and again and again.
I think it's one of those things, if we talk about the church or Christian homes, like taboo things that you don't talk about, but it's not helping the process. Like, it's not helping our kids. It's not helping the situations. Like, because we've talked about it in the past. Like, I didn't talk about that in my house, right? And
you came from
a Christian home, right? My dad was a pastor. Like, it was
in church
one of those
every day of
things
the
where
week.
we didn't talk about it. But I started having sex, and it was like at a very young age, like 14 years old, and it was like I didn't
talk about
it. I didn't know what protection was. I didn't know what, like, I didn't really think about. Can you imagine me 14 years old having a baby? Like, so I could see how, I guess when I sit on the other side of the spectrum, and like, if I was 14 years old, 15 years old, 16, 17, and had a baby, like, I don't know, like, I'm not the one carrying it, but when you put it that way, like, I do empathize a bit, but I don't ever like, there's no room for what she did, and I still don't sympathize. It doesn't matter what you tell me, like, it's not okay.
Right, the act of that was not okay.
Yeah.
But what can we do to
I'm reading a little more on it. Yeah. You know what, going back to what you were saying about your parents not even talking about it, like, with my kids, I have found too, it's kind of, I feel like it's a complex issue because, like, I have one kid I can explain things to and, like, be very upfront about, and you know what I'm saying, and not be conservative in the conversation, and she'll listen and take that and be, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to do that. But if I explain something to the other child, she's more like intrigued and like, I want to know more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's a hard thing to deal with. And then going back to the church too, this is where I get mad. Not at the church that
love the church.
Yeah,
let's look at the camera.
Yeah,
we
love the church. Not
Jesus died for the church.
Yeah, not the church. Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about like the church that Jesus died for and we're all a part of and stuff like that. But you know, and I know churches that do stuff, and there's churches I know in this city that do stuff that would be considered this, but it's very minute and you never hear anything. It's always, oh, well, we're doing we need a new building, we need new lights, we need new this, we need new that, and it's all these different things, and they might have these, oh, we're having this event, and we're doing all this, and they're raising money for men's night, women's night, and all that, but you never hear about the younger. I'm just reading more about her situation, and it is kind of
sad.
Yeah, and
tell us about it real quick.
It was just saying she didn't even know she was pregnant. She was young. She admitted to the crime. Oh, and she only referred to the child as it. Aww. The child's father is believed to be a teen from Hobbs who identity police did not release. She just looks like, I mean, I don't want to say this because, you know, some of her family might see it and think like, dang, dude, judgmental. I'm not being judgmental or anything like that, but, yeah, so anyway, the churches, like, what are they? I'm sure there's one somewhere, you know what I mean? But I think it's a lack of the church really addressing and going after these things that they should be. You know what I mean? I remember there was this time that I think it was like at the Passion Fest last year where they were dressed in like human trafficking and stuff.
Yeah.
And they sang all these songs and did all that. And maybe there was money that went to an organization, but like you really don't see the church doing a lot. Maybe they go to one of the unfortunate schools in the city and help with homework. And you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot more they
and
could
I
do.
think that goes back to where we've talked about we have to do more as parents.
Yeah.
Like parents need to be more in the word and grow their relationship and stand firm in their home on these things, because like we said, the church can't always be responsible. We drop off our kid one day a week on a Sunday and they learn all this.
That's true.
So we have to have it in the home and be talking to our kids, asking our kids these questions. So I'd love to even bring our kids. My son, he's in 8th grade. He has to take health class. They're going to talk about sex. They're going to talk about gender identity. They're going to talk about suicide. But I need to know that I've already set that foundation for my son.
Yeah.
Like we did that, and we have friends that are like you guys are crazy. Why are you guys tainting your kids at such a young age? But
They're so innocent.
I think when Zeke was at 13 or whatever, like we sat him down and talked about sex, and we talked about what the Bible says about it, and that it's meant for, you know, within marriage, it's a gift from God, but it's meant to be within the confines of marriage, and it was kind of weird, but not really, because we're really transparent with our kids, and we explain that that's what it is. And when you have sex with somebody, it's almost like a soul tie. Like you're always going to remember that it's more than just physical. It's more than just feeling good. And I don't care what the school tells you, what health tells you, this is what it is. And we use scripture, and we looked at stuff. And I'm glad we did that, because I feel like we're naive as adults, as parents, as brothers, as sisters, as friends, as whoever you are. There's a kid in your life. And we're naive to think that they're not going to see it or do it or be exposed to sex or whatever, right? Especially at such a young age now is where the exposure comes from, and we got to get ahead of it. Yeah. Because if not, the world's going to tell them what it is.
I was exposed to it at a young age, and that's before the internet. And nowadays the internet is just right there. And I know, like my 13-year-old daughter, she talks to a lot of boys and tells me stuff, and the boys she's talking to and stuff, they've already like seen stuff, and they know they can see stuff. You can go on your PlayStation and look stuff up. Like it's so easy to find things, and when you're a young person and you're going through that thing in life, you know what I mean, to look for it. And that's not even mention what you find on accident, like we were just talking about. And then I don't know, man, it's very complex.
This is a stat, dude, from it's coming out of, let me find it again. It's teen pregnancy rates, and it's from World Population Review, and it's saying that out of every 1,000 teenage girls, this is the national stat, 17 of them will get pregnant. Yeah. Right? And New Mexico is even higher. New Mexico, out of every 1,000 girls, 24 teenage girls will get pregnant.
I'd like to see the stats of that. Like how many of them are just going to go and have abortions? And
I don't know.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I think if there was more God in the home, or more God in the community, and not and yeah, you know, Christians are about abstinence, you know what I mean? But you still educate, like, if you have sex, like, this is what's going to happen and stuff like that. I'm not just saying, like, beat with abstinence and stay that way, but a more Christ-centered explanation of things, I think we would have less abortions, less of things like this happening, and I don't know, that's I think it would be a better place.
Yeah, and even, I guess, even my take, right, is as a father, as a husband, as a Christian, how can we reach the lost, right? Yeah. Because obviously this girl didn't have God in her household. I would assume not, right? Like she's
or
probably
maybe
not
she
in
did
a Christian.
so much that they don't talk about it.
I'm willing to guess she didn't live in a Christian household. Right?
Well, they may have been, but not like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
But I guess what I'm saying as well, and this is something we've
because like, what's a Christian household? Somebody that follows everything by the.
No, but
I get what you're saying. I gotta defend my own brokenness, and
so where I'm going with this is like, what is your circle of influence, right? Because we have embraced trying to have our kids' friends around, right? And we try to influence them. We don't allow our kids to try to be influenced. So whether I would hope that if one of my friends' kids is having a problem, I'm talking about regulars that come over to my house, I would see the difference in them. I would see that something's not okay with them. And as believers, as Christians, as mentors, as trying to intervene and see that, I would hope that I could do that, right? And that's where us as Christians need to be relevant and be involved in not just your household, but what's your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that we have to take advantage of.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that, because I listened to a podcast called Mama Bear Apologetics, and the lady was talking about how she remembers, her brother always remembers his friend's mom saying when she would drop him off at the mall or take him to wherever little things they were going to as friends, the mom would always say, "Don't have sex," like when they got out of the car. Like, and he's like, it was awkward at first, but then you got used to it. And I always thought about her voice. So there are little things like that. You want to influence those kids around you. It wasn't her kid, but she tells her own kids and the other kids too, because she wants them to know, like, make right choices,
Yeah.
I just think it's those little things that our kids and their friends, people that are in our home, coming through our home, are gonna remember if we're consistent.
It's true.
Yeah.
So what would we say is the takeaway of this episode?
I feel like I said in the video that got deleted, or we started.
Stop clowning my editing.
I feel for the baby, because my sister told me I was found in the trash can. So I feel for the baby, man. It's something that I've carried with me my whole life. I was found in the trash can. But I would say,
were you really found in a trash can?
I don't know, man.
I think that is your sister was just being mean to you.
She's...
Like you're adopted.
Yeah.
I was found in the trash can.
But either way, you believe you're found in a trash can.
I don't know. Maybe, dude. I think I look too much like my dad to be found in the trash can. Unless my mom threw me in there and my dad went and got me out.
Yeah, maybe that happened.
I could see my mom do it. My takeaway is life is precious. I go, I encourage churches and the church, like the real church, to do more to help the community. It's not always about buying a new building or getting new lights or making the service more attractive. Like, there's other things out there that need to be tended to. The world is dying around us. You know what I mean? The culture of our nation is becoming disgusting like this, and we're just sitting around worried about what we can do to be more popular. Maybe I'm doing a podcast too, so maybe I'm responsible for that too. But that's my takeaway. I feel bad for the girl, but I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm pro-life. Life deserves to live. It says that God knew us before we were in our mother's womb, and that's how I feel about that.
That's all I'm gonna say about
Not all I got to say about that.
What you got? Closing remarks?
My closing remark is, yes, it was the wrong decision, and she's going to live with that for the rest of her life. She's going to have the guilt in her heart. There's that connection with your child you'll never lose, and she'll have to deal with it. But I stand firm on being a parent. I need to do more. We need to do more in the home with those that are around us. Not just our kids, but kids that we're around, because that's the only way we're going to prevent it from happening again.
It's true.
Is being stronger for our kids and talking about the things that people don't want to talk about out loud.
Yeah, that's good. And I guess my human Christian aspect comes out, and it's like, I also do want to think about those people, right? Like, pray for those people and pray for the situation. Like, I'm not heartless, but at the same time, it disgusts me, right? But I don't wish any ill on the person.
Yeah.
I pray for God to touch that girl, touch the family.
Yeah, that's a
Right?
better way
It's
to
one
look
of
at
those things where it's out there, man. And what can
No.
we do to fix it? What can we do to help it? And this is sincere, man. Like I it's a broken world, and it's sad when we see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we help?
it. No,
And
you're right.
how we can help is just being conscious of what's going on and praying about it and praying for people and just trying to share the gospel.
That's good.
That's what I
That's
got.
I feel like I was more of a taking a harsher stance, but
It's all right.
now hearing it like that, the Bible says, to take the speck out of your own eye before you start talking about other folks. And like looking back at my life, I've done some just as bad things. So who am I to judge
Well,
the
and,
girl? But still, I
Who's
say
to
life is.
it's worse than hers, and
Yeah.
hers is worse than mine.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We're all. It's
That's true.
bad.
I'm just as guilty of her,
Yes,
but I stand that life deserves to
absolutely.
have a chance. So you're right. God forgive me.
Yeah, that's all we got. So that's gonna end this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for being here to conversate.
letting me-
I don't think
Pursuit
it
Pursuit with Paige.
In pursuit.
with
In
Paige.
pursuit with Paige.
In pursuit with Paige.
Thank you.
All right, peace out. Good job. Bring it in here.
We're doing a break or what?
No, that's
When
it.
it-
Peace out. Peace out.
Hey, thanks guys for tuning in to the Lino and Chuck D podcast. Again, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe. Tune in next time for another awesome episode.